students. Today we are going to start with our pharmacognosy subject, especially the phytochemical pathways. As we all know, pharmacognosy is the study of science of herbal drugs, especially a systematic study wherein we study its biological sources, commerce, commercial uses, chemical constituents, and the adulterants. So it's a systematic study. And one of the parts which has to do with the chemical constituents of pharmacognosy are the phytochemicals or plants obtained chemicals. Now, when we talk of phytochemicals, these phytochemicals are metabolites which are primary in nature and which may as well be secondary metabolites. Now, these primary and secondary metabolites have various functions. So, and why do we study these phytochemical pathways? We study the phytochemical pathways for the simple understanding that how we can utilize the biochemical pathways of a plant so that we can obtain the desired chemicals or the chemicals which may be of commercial usage or utility for humans. Now, when we discuss about the phytochemical pathways, we have to understand what it actually is. The first aspect of it is metabolism. Now, we all know what is metabolism. Metabolism is simply a set of chemical reactions that occur in a cell, which enable it to keep on living, growing, and dividing. And as you all know, the metabolic processes are usually categorized as the building up processes or the anabolic processes and the catabolic process or the breakdown process. Now, anabolic processes or anabolism is simply a set of chemical reactions wherein new cellular components are produced, and these processes normally require energy, and they also need some raw material which are needed for this particular process. And this anabolic process basically helps the organism grow up. uh, so all these are anabolic processes, whereas when we talk of catabolic processes are those processes wherein the organism obtains energy by breakdown of the metabolites which are present in the organism. So that may be carbohydrates, that may be fats, that may be proteins, and all these are catabolized to obtain energy, which is ATP, adenyl triphosphate, and that is used for different processes of growth, maintenance, and regulation. Now, when we talk about plants, so what does plant produce? The plants is we can understand in simple terms. It's a chemical factory. It produces a host of chemicals, and these chemicals are for ease of understanding are categorized into two different groups. The one class of metabolites or chemicals are known as primary metabolites, and these particular metabolites are directly involved in the growth and metabolism of the plant. And whereas this other set of metabolites which are known as the secondary metabolites, and these are slightly unique and are found in not in all plants, and they do have some they might be understood as waste products. That was an early understanding, but now it is understood that they do have some physiological role in the plant's growth. They may help in the protection of the plant from its from the pest. They may help protect it from some kind of microbial infections like fungal infections, and they can also help it in its life cycle completion for production of some enzymes like your indole acetic acid, which is an oxygen, cytokinins, gibberellins, abscisic acid. So all these are obtained through these phytochemical pathways. In the case of gibberellins or abscisic acid, we are obtaining them through the isoprenoid pathway. When you talk of indole acetic acid, we obtain it through the shikimic acid pathway. So these are very interesting topics, very interesting and very utility oriented topics, because we can use these particular pathways to modulate the plant biochemistry, and we can obtain desired chemical constituents of our use. Now, these pathways are simply used for the primary metabolic pathways like your TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, your electron transport chain, these are simply the pathways which help in synthesizing simple but essential molecules which are necessary for the normal physiological growth and the energy requirements of the plant. And these are widely distributed in nature, and these particular metabolites are also utilized as food by humans and other animals for their nutrient catabolism. So we understand that plants are the biggest source of nutrients for animals as well as for humans, and the source of nutrients are the primary metabolites of plants like carbohydrates, starch, fats. Okay, so as I was discussing earlier, the primary metabolites include carbohydrates, then organic, as well as your vitamins, hormones, and then flavonoids, phenolics, glucosinolates, which are essential for the plant growth, development, stress adaptation, and defense. And these metabolites have important role when we talk of the nutritional quality of the food, when we considering humans, like the color, taste, smell, its anti-carcinogenic property, and other properties, immunostimulating property, cholesterol lowering property. So all these properties are derivative of the kind and class of the quality of the primary metabolites that are present in the plant. Now, now that is the normal pathway or the primary metabolic pathways which we see. But as I was telling you earlier, that there are primary metabolites and then there are the secondary metabolites. Now we have to remember that this is just for the understanding purposes. As far as the plant is concerned, all of them are metabolites, and we would see in certain instances that the primary metabolites may be considered secondary metabolites, and vice versa, that is the secondary metabolites might be considered primary metabolites in specific instances. When we discuss about the secondary metabolites, now secondary metabolites are, as I was telling you earlier, a very set of unique compounds which are important, but earlier were considered to be non-essential for the plant function, normal function of the plants. Uh, and it has the understanding was that these metabolites have some defense purposes, and sometimes these metabolites give special characteristics to plants, like their specific color, odor, taste. These are governed by the specific secondary metabolites. Now, these secondary metabolites also have a very important role. They have a role in signaling and regulation of the primary metabolic pathways, especially in the case of plant hormones like auxins, cytokinins. So these plant hormones are the secondary metabolites which are used to regulate the metabolic activity, as well as see the overall development of the plant itself, depending on the external stimuli. Like in case of long day plants, some plant hormones may be active when the plant starts premature flowering. The same is the case when it's a short day plant and it starts to flower in the season when it should not flower. So these particular plant hormones regulate the plant, and they ensure that the energy or the resources are not wasted in such scenario. Now, one of the important aspects that you need to understand is synthesis and biosynthesis. Now, why I'm telling you about this is because, as I was telling you, that we study these plant phytochemical pathways so that we can control these pathways to get the metabolites of our desire, of our use for our commercial or for therapeutic purposes. Now, when we talk of synthesis, synthesis simply is a process wherein we produce macromolecules from small molecules artificially or by chemical reaction. Whereas when you talk about biosynthesis, biosynthesis is simply a biological formation of large organic compounds from smaller compounds within a living system by harnessing or by using their normal metabolism with the help of certain factors which might be known as elicitors. These factors actually cause the organism to produce specific chemical entities which are of our use. Now, when we talk of process chemical synthesis, it is an artificial and chemical process, whereas when you talk of the biosynthesis process, it's a natural biological process, and it is catalyzed by the enzymes. Now, these the end products of the synthetic process as well as the biosynthetic process can be polymers which are organic or inorganic in nature when you talk of synthesis. Whereas when you talk of biosynthetic process, the end products are normally organic in nature, and they may or may not be biodegradable. So we can have to understand that the end product of biosynthetic process may also not be biodegradable. The case to point would be the bones, as well as the keratin fiber. So all these are natural biopolymers, but then again they are not biodegradable. Now, when we discuss about further about all these processes, the synthetic process and the biosynthetic process, the phytochemical pathways normally comprise of certain pathways like your shikimic acid pathway, your isoprenoid pathway, your mevalonate pathway, and the malonate pathway. Now, these are the four common pathways which we encounter in our regular processes. The shikimic acid pathway is one of the most important pathways in the sense that this particular pathway is essential for the production of all the aromatic amino acids. So this particular pathway is named after shikimic, or which is an acid which is found inter alia or in the intermediate process. And this particular shikimic was found in a Japanese food which was known as shikmi. Now shikmi is also known, the common name is star anise, and this particular chemical entity uh, uh, is used for production of amino acids, aromatic amino acids like your phenylalanine, tyrosine. So, and these particular amino acids then in plants, it's a part of the pathway. Then it goes on to produce certain metabolites, secondary metabolites like your alkaloids, glycosides. Well, when we talk of this, when we discuss about the same in lower animals like bacteria or fungi, these are used to produce certain other entities which confer that particular bacteria its immunity or its resistivity to certain antibacterial substances. So that is one part. And when we talk of this shikimic acid pathway, this particular pathway is only available for these bacteria, fungi, certain pathogens, and then plants. In higher animals and humans, we don't have this particular biochemical pathway in our system, and due to which we for us all these amino acids like phenylalanine, tyrosine, all these are essential amino acids. That is, we have to obtain it through the diet. So that is something that has to be understood. And then again, if we understand this particular pathway to a greater extent, we would realize that we can actually modulate or control these pathways for the controlling the bacteria. We can actually, if it's a pathogenic bacteria, we can actually use some kind of factors which can actually discontinue the pathway, or we may disrupt the pathway, and the bacteria may not survive. So we have to realize that these particular pathways are essential for our purposes. And the other important aspect that we have to remember is that these pathways help us in regulating the synthetic process in the plant, the biosynthetic process, as well as their different phytoconstituents. Like I was telling you about the auxins and the cytokinins. These auxins and cytokinins, auxins especially produce the apical dominance. The apical dominance means the root, the shoot develops first. That is because of the higher concentration of auxins in the plant as compared to the cytokinins. Whereas another plant, secondary metabolite like your abscisic acid, it has a role in abscission or fall of leaf. All those plants which lose their leaves in the summers, the deciduous plants, they lose their leaves due to the effect of the abscisic acid. This also helps in controlling the transpiration rate of the plant, and in wilting of the flowers or wilting of the fruits, because in the case of heat stress. So this abscisic acid is another of the examples. Then gibberellins. Gibberellins are also a special set of plant hormones which are the end products of your isoprenoid pathway. So these gibberellins, they were initially isolated in Japan from the rice fungi, which actually caused it to grow towards the sunlight, sunlight. And this particular gibberellic acid set of isoprenoid metabolites play a role in the elongation of the stems of the plant, in the maturation of leaves. Now, if you talk of certain other metabolites like your cytokinins and your flavones, these have a very important role when you talk of plants. Flavones especially confer the plant certain properties, like it helps plant fight off some infections, it helps plant have its specific colors. And when you talk of humans, these flavones have an important role uh, as antioxidants, and they protect. They have this role in preventing the aging process, because flavones are the free radical quenchers. So they help in controlling the aging process in the plant and in animals. And for those who are suffering from this age-related dementia and other conditions, they are supposed to take flavones and help overcome this age-related debility that comes because of the loss of normal radical quenchers in the body, like your Q10 or ubiquitin. So that is the important part. When we talk of alkaloids, which is one of the important metabolites, which we find from your shikimic acid pathway and the amino acid pathway or nidazole pathway. So these alkaloids have an important role as far as we are concerned. Humans, they play an important role, like a few of the examples could be quinine, which is used in treatment of malaria. Then there's other alkaloids could be like your colchicine, which is an anti-mitotic agent, anti-arthritic agent. Then there are n number of examples of such metabolites of alkaloidal nature. And then there are other metabolites like glycosides, which are simply the end products of glycone and aglycone. The glycone simply being the sugar part of the metabolite, and the aglycone is the isoprenoid derivative, which is normally end product of your isoprenoid pathway. And these glycosides have a host of physiological roles, especially when we discuss about your cardiac glycosides like bufadinolides and cardinolides. Bufadinolide example would be your the squill, from which is obtained from Scilla maritima. And then cardinolides example would be digitoxin, which you obtain from Digitalis lanata, Digitalis purpurea. And we all know that cardinolides are obviously 5 times more stronger than the bufadinolides, and we use it for conditions like your cardiac arrhythmias, congestive heart failure. And then there's other set of alkaloids, these glycosides, like your the saponin glycosides. One of the examples would be the your one of the example would be this sarsapilla or yam, from which we obtain your steroidal saponins. And these steroidal saponins are very important because they are used to commercially synthesize all your steroids, corticosteroids, male sex hormone, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. So all these are normally synthesized through your yam alkaloids, your yam glycosides. So you can understand that these plant metabolites, especially secondary metabolites, are of much use, and we can utilize them for a host of purposes, for controlling the physiological processes, for controlling the infestation. Like when we talk about this, the natural insecticide, one of the common examples that comes to our mind is pyrethrum. That's again an isoprenoid derivative, and it is obtained from the chrysanthemum plant, right? So all these plants are there, their secondary metabolites are there, and how do we utilize them to control the environment and our health for our betterment? So this is one of the most important topics that we can understand. And even though the time is slightly limited, so I would rather conclude the topic by giving you a brief overview that plant biochemical pathways are the pathways which help us, which actually designate how a primary metabolite is transforming through a biochemical pathway to produce a secondary metabolite, and how we can actually modulate that particular phytochemical pathway to get an end product which is of our own choice. So that is one part, that is the application of biochemical pathways or phytochemical pathways, and that's it. Thank you.